Yeah, please.
Okay, move on here. I have a motion for the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I have a make a comment. The February meeting, Joe Moore's made a statement that the board purchased a light bar, badge, and radio for the EMA coordinator. I'm going to put it in the record, there was never a radio purchased.
Okay, you're gonna have to bring that up on the old business, because we already approved the minutes for February.
Okay.
So bring it up under unfinished business.
Have a motion for the approved minutes.
There's a mistake on page 3, unfinished business. Fourth sentence before the end, you have President Neal. I think it should be
Oh.
President Wisniewski.
Yeah. Still used to write it because of the computer.
Good eye, good eye.
Yeah.
All right,
She likes to mix it up. All right, one more time.
motion to accept the minutes. Second? Paul, second. All those in favor? Okay, mayor's report.
Captain Gay,
He just went that way.
went that way.
He ran away from me. He's coming back.
Do you have the report?
Did you see him?
I didn't see him. I don't know.
Okay.
Here he is. He's coming.
It's coming.
You know, the-
He's on the phone.
Oh,
He told me to hold on a minute. Jim.
Let's go.
Give your report, sir.
Sure. Police report for the month of March. There were traffic citations, 26, 19 warnings, non-traffic, 3 summary offenses. Criminal charges were 3 DUIs, 5 possessions of narcotics heroin, 2 possessions of narcotics marijuana, 1 possession of narcotics with intent to deliver, 1 possession of narcotics unauthorized prescription medications, 1 possession of prohibited offensive weapons, 2 disorderly conducts. Through the notices that we sent out here, due to the changes in weather conditions, residents need to be aware of the foot traffic will be increasing in the community during the hours of the day. Keep your vehicles and homes, outbuildings locked to protect against becoming an easy victim of crime or theft. All persons attempting to solicit within the municipality should be holding an approved permit. If they do not, advise the department. Construction within the borough and various street projects will be in full swing. Drivers should be looking for signs, cones, and flag persons and act appropriately. Detours may be posted. Please do not attempt to drive through the restricted access zones while construction is there, or you can face charges with that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Also, last month, we had a meeting about the municipal police possibly having a municipal police force. These were the, it was in the newspaper, explains
These copies,
about
Jim?
what.
These are copies?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
about what's going on
Is there a meeting with regionalizing the police force?
with the regional police force. And there's going to be another meeting this Wednesday at 6 p.m. down at the county courthouse commissioners meeting room on the second floor. It's open to the public. If anybody would like to go to it, you're welcome to. Go down there, express your opinion, suggestions. That's all I
And
have.
that's gonna be the specific topic of that meeting?
Yes. Regional police.
Let me, if I can, Judge Holman, I think what it is Dave Wolf. He was out in Buffalo. He wants to start it's actually it is a regional police force, but it won't have any full-time police officers. All the police officers, what he wants to do is part-time. He called me, he was telling me about it, and Jim went with me. Who's all gonna be involved in it, I don't know. I mean, if the police committee like to go, when did you say it was? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
7 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock
This Wednesday or next Wednesday?
This
This
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
9th.
Thank you.
to see what it's all about.
So we had
This-
West Hearing, the first one?
It was just for municipality leaders. But this coming Wednesday, it's for the public.
May I ask a question, Jim? Where'd you get the information on the second page about $80,000 a year for the police department? Did you get that from the auditors, or from the budget this year?
It's on the,
I think the budget is 79,000 this year.
That seems kind of steep compared
Yes.
to East Franklin Township.
Well-
Or tops.
I understand what you're saying.
Right.
East Franklin didn't include all the extras in theirs, as far as insurance,
Oh.
fuel, everything for their,
Everything.
that's how they come up with such a low figure.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
our
much that's
80,000
50%.
is,
The number from who?
Everything.
Where'd you get the 80,000, that's all?
that was on the auditors, last year's auditors report.
Yeah, okay.
I said 70 something, the paper said 80. I said I'm not sure, but somewhere around 78, 79.
Yeah, because I seen those figures, I thought the same thing.
Because they're not.
And I happened to run into Barry Peters, and I asked him, I said, that figure isn't right for your police. I said, there's no way it can be. He said, well, no, that doesn't include insurance, fuel for the vehicles.
This paints us in a bad light.
No, as I said, $89,000 for the coverage out there, wouldn't even cover their salaries.
No.
I don't know what that number is compared to West Tampa.
Well, that's why I said, oh, I'm ashamed to say it. I said, from what I understand, we're paying around 78, 79,000.
But we need to bring that to their attention at the meeting, that's everything, whereas the other municipalities,
It isn't.
it is not. We're not comparing apples and apples there at all.
Well, I put that, he asked me last.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, when
Well, I just-
Manor Township said what they're paying,
Yeah.
Well, I know there's no way Manor Township.
I said, I'm ashamed to say what we're paying.
But you shouldn't be,
Then I-
because we're
then I
giving them all a
talked-
figure.
Yeah.
And I talked to Bob, he said, well, they probably didn't give the breakdown that we did.
All right, anything else?
I just have one question to Officer Dagan. Bob, I was listening to your report, and I saw all the criminal activity, and particularly the weapons and drug charges. Is that all in 1 month?
Yes,
Really?
and that's within our community.
yes.
That was quite a bit of
Yeah. Drug act.
firearms and drug convictions there.
Well, we've worked in conjunction with Drug Task Force and other agencies and collecting information. We've been doing an ongoing investigation, you know, with some of the Crime Watch folks and so forth, you know, being able to get information. So this month where we can start making arrests on some of the information we've already received. So it's taken a little bit as far as the investigation goes, so we can get everything prepared and make sure that, you know, the charges and stuff that we can get for them are actually appropriate, but that's,
It's 1 month.
yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
Nice job. It seems like you're doing a good job there. I just wanted to note that you're pretty busy most of the time.
May not be able to do it every month, but, you know, it seems that, with help from the community and other agencies and so forth, we've been able to, you know, make some dents into some things that have been going on up here.
Thank you.
You have anything else, Jim?
No.
All right, we'll go on to committee reports. Let's see, start with the Public Works and Street Committee.
Well, we had the one snow there, which they did a very good job. So hopefully we have no more. And then we fixed the pipe up along Pine Hill Road. There was a big hole there, and we checked it all out, and there was nothing. We just we filled it back in, and that was it. But they're just going out and filling potholes in the alley, and they did some blacktopping, filmed the blacktopping on the street, and they're going to be doing some berm, some of the berm, so they're keeping busy.
One thing I would add, the lettering will be put on the truck more,
Yeah.
the new truck.
All of
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna cost $175.
That's for everything.
Yeah,
Oh, including the
Yeah.
decals, okay.
that's everything.
Thank you.
And I did want to bring up, I guess the police talked about this, that they will portion their vehicles and that. And generally, the board employees do that. So I'd like to know if the board employees should be doing that or if the police do it. I know whenever I was there, we always did it.
Can you speak up?
And they said something about the board employees just come out and said one time that they're not gonna do it anymore, so I don't know what that was about. That was before me.
I know that it was past practice that the board employees would take care of all the vehicles, including police vehicles, as far as washing them, and the maintenance on them, that kind of stuff.
That's pretty much your call on it.
Yeah.
Then you have to delegate that.
I think they should, because there might be times that, if they're in there and pouring down rain or something, they're doing things that one person may be able to wash it.
Well, don't need to wash it when it's pouring down rain.
No, if it's filthy, it's hard to leave it to go out clean, or be clean.
Yeah,
Yes,
You bring it up about that.
take practice.
Yeah.
I'll bring it
We
up.
discussed it, John.
But most of those vehicles we have down there, other than the police department's vehicles, are either fairly new or in fairly good shape.
Yeah.
So it's an important thing to keep care of.
Yeah.
So however we find we need to get it done, we need to do it.
Right, yeah.
Salt needs to be washed out of the trucks.
Right.
If these guys are out on patrol and these guys are too busy mowing grass or doing whatever they do in the summertime, painting signs,
Right.
fixing pipes, that's the only thing I'm gonna ask you about. Then, if these guys want to wash a vehicle, as long as they're ready to go and in uniform and can do it, we gotta take care of it. So, yeah, whatever, however you can, we gotta do that.
Right, yeah, I think it's clean, so. But they do maintain, let's say, taking, I think, the oil and that, I think. Bob, do you change the oil or do the guys up there?
We do not change it.
Okay, do they up there change the oil?
To the best of my knowledge, I don't know, we notify them whenever mileage comes up, and the oil gets changed.
Okay.
All I can tell you, though, I'm not there to see it, so I can't.
Okay, so they must change it then, so.
Yeah, it gets changed.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, except for we may be changing another pipe.
Yeah.
Pipe along Southern Avenue.
Can I ask you a question? The street down here, Kling & Smith's on, the whole way down, they're working on that? Why is there two big cuts in the roads that's gravelled in them.
Where at exactly?
You're talking
One's
about
on
right
Pleasant
there.
side and one's on the other side of the fire hall.
I
I
know
can
they're
speak to
replacing the
that.
water lines all up and down.
That's where the water line is crossing the road. The new water line starts at Harrison Street and goes on the same side of the road as the old water line, and then that cross cut by Bob Lasitis' house, then they go to the other side of the road because they're tearing up less pavement on, when they do the cross cut. That's why there's a cross cut there.
Is there a reason that there's no cold patch put in there?
Because they're not done, and they're just gonna wait till they're done because they have to do another one to get to a fire hydrant on the other side of the street. And they're gonna wait and bring in and repair the street all at one time instead of bringing in 3 loads.
Are you talking about the one up there at the drugstore?
One at the drugstore and one at the other end of the fire hall, or like within that.
Drugstore's that way.
Both, well, wherever we are.
That was a water line break.
Yeah, this was a water line break over here. And they've been keeping it filled in with stone, but they don't want to put any kind of patch, anything in, because when they get done with this water line project, it's going to take care of that too.
Because the water line project will go to, from Harrison to North Crescent, so it'll go right past where that big
Yeah.
break was in January.
So when they repave the street, which I think that's what they're going to do, they're going to repave the whole street.
No, I believe the water authority is just gonna fix
All those
the areas.
sections.
Yeah, we have to put it back to before the water authority disrupted the street. But they're gonna wait and do it all at one time, so they don't bring in the cold patch 3 different times.
All right, buildings.
We met with Sun Engineering today. It was actually Nicole from Infinity Training, Mike Maylock from Sun Engineering, Bez was there, and myself, and one of the guys on the building committee, which was your call. And we had met and talked about the inside work. It's primarily finished. There's some holes that need to be taken care of, some different things that need to be touched up towards the end of the final inspection. I think that they're gonna probably try to catch up and get all that stuff in there that we brought up done next week. As far as the outside, we had discussed about bringing that up to a 4-inch, I think, did he say 10% grade? 4 inches of
Up front.
topsoil up front.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
going to
the
come
end.
to 4 inches below the,
And he wants 3 to 4 inches of topsoil.
yeah.
So I'm actually on the outside now. So. But anyhow, the outside's gonna be graded off, rough graded off. Topsoil will be brought in up to a 30% grade, 4 inch topsoil on the top. Complete the sidewalk out front and in the back. Supposedly concrete the parking lot area right by the lamp post. And then seed it. So that work's supposed to begin next week. And that's where we are with the building. We're gonna try to get a hold of, we may have to have the May meeting here, only because of the fact that, you know, with it being this close to being done, we've met several times. We haven't discussed with furniture. There's furniture being painted, and some furniture that needs to be repaired. Stuff needs to be put on the walls. We gotta figure out how we're gonna address, you know, what we're gonna put in that building. So we may have to have the meeting here. We're gonna try to get a hold of Marty from the inspecting company to get us an occupancy permit from the inside, so we can start on that. Temporary permit to start on that. I'm gonna get with Nancy and try to plan an open house. Have the paper there, have people there for a couple hours, meet and greet, check the building out, discuss a
Ribbon
little bit.
cutting?
Ribbon cutting.
Ribbon cutting?
Right. We'll have to get, you know, like I said, once they get started on the outside, get a real grip on the sidewalks, get that graded. I mean, they picked up a lot of stuff and material last week. There's still large rocks and stuff there that needs to be graded out and removed. Once they get that started, get the sidewalks established and everything up to grade, get ready to pour, I mean, that's about the time we should get in there and start discussing what we're gonna have our open house. I don't know, like I said, I think they may be done by the next meeting, you know, the May meeting, as far as the outside. but I don't know how far along we will have with the furniture, so, and what we want to do here. So I'll just keep you up to date on that. I mean, that's where we're at right now.
We'll just schedule it, have a meeting here.
And yeah, if we have to, we can advertise it up there. I mean, I do think that with everything going on, the last minute things, with the grading, the grass, and the seeding stuff, and the way we want the furniture, we're gonna put the furniture in, what we're gonna put in there, what we're gonna hang on the walls, I do think it's gonna be, especially to have that open, the 2-hour open house, and ribbon cutting and stuff, I think would be rushing for the community.
Can I ask you a question? Do we have in the budget for any new furniture, for table or anything like that? So tonight, maybe can we kind of give a little bit of a price, vote on something that allows us to order tables or what, so that we need, so we don't have to wait till the next meeting?
Well, this is what I want to do. I mean, we definitely need to take a look. I think Bob, as the president, needs to come up there and sit down with the building committee, maybe a few other guys that make it, because I think there's only one council member on the committee. So we only have 2 other council members. Discuss what we're going to do, come up with a plan, and then if we decide we need somebody, then we can go on a committee meeting, or, discuss what we're going to do, because there's still.
I mean, if there's something you need to order, you're gonna need to get it soon, because if you wanna have an open house the following month, then you're kind of stuck.
Right, we are. And that's what I mean. So I think that we'll probably roughly got a couple more weeks to get together. And if we have to have a special meeting, I mean, we'll have to have a special meeting. I mean, we want to get this done. The most important thing is to get it done right, so.
We have to decide too how much we're going to spend on the open house.
Right.
And everything. And whether we're just doing ribbon cutting, open house 2 to 4, just a very basic thing. Or if we're going to expand it into like a community day, or we'll have other things going on.
Right. And that's why I want to get together to have a plan. I mean, I think
So we need
that,
to know kind
yeah,
of money we can work with.
I think to get it set up to where we're ready to do business in, and, have things on the wall where we're going to have advertisements, people know where to look when they come in, and we tell them that meet and greet. Let's get a rough plan all together, so whenever we have meet and greet in the 2-hour open house, that any questions we ask, we'll be able to answer them. I don't know right now if we can answer questions, so I think we can get together here in a couple of weeks. Like I said, if they get started next week, like Nicole said today, for instance, if they get started next week and get this graded and get the form set, then it's going to be down here from there, so as soon as we see them sidewalks get formed up.
Yeah, well, we can't get an occupancy permit till we decide, we get a temporary one for us. We have to have the sidewalks and everything in.
That's just it. We can't have a meeting there until it's safe. We can't be safe to do sidewalks. So, we can go in there and get a temporary one for us, we go in there and put fire train, get set up and stuff like that there. We've been at the sidewalk.
We might have to have a rental agreement for the fire hall, for the first couple of weeks.
Well, I don't know. I think these will be ours. It might be- We're gonna have to work on it. Like I said, once we get the sidewalk clear, we'll meet.
All these are.
That wasn't.
Oh,
Because we had,
Yes.
yeah,
Roughly, there's things that need to be in the executive session room, the meeting room. There's things that need to be in public with Carly's office. We still have to meet with 2 Crew. I'm sorry I didn't bring 2 Crew up. 2 Crew's finalized everything up there. They have to come over there and have a meeting with, and we'll have to classify the work session, see if we can do it. I mean, because we don't all have to be there. And it's, considered a work session because they want to show everybody how to run the monitors, how to use the security system up there. I have to get over that next week. I had a guy in here, I think the first of the month. It was just a couple weeks ago, last week or something. But they finished it up. So we're on the down end of that. We haven't done any of the 4th and final phase of 2 Crew with doors. And, at this point, I don't know if we'll have to talk with, we'll have to talk with Brian from 2 Crew, which, and like I said, last thing was the doors and fog system and all that stuff. I mean, we're gonna hold off on that anyhow, but the next one is the key code, we're gonna try to get it. Right now, we just got keys, so we may just keep it. We We'll talk about it.
Right.
But yeah, they're as well, they're done, they want to meet everybody on council, so.
Just schedule as a work session.
Wants to schedule something as a work session and get together, because he wants to show everybody at the same time.
Well, there'll be no decisions made,
Yeah.
so.
But like I said, I'll have to get a hold of him. He did call a couple days ago, and I told him that I wasn't going to be able to get back with him until I talked to everybody. And I did call a couple of people on the phone.
I'd kind of like to pass the word, I think it's okay to mention it right now to the public. Anybody that would have pictures of past council members, past presidents of council, et cetera, anything to do like those, along those lines, if they would have pictures that they would be able to submit to us, no bigger than 8 by 10. We would like to put them in the executive room, on the walls, to honor past people who served, on a council and in the borough.
Okay, for all you members who want to go up there and take a look at the building, the key is over at the Boyle Shed. If I'm not there, and somebody is more welcome to come in as council and take a look at the building, it's totally finished inside. I do want to add that there's not a microwave and a refrigerator yet. We still have to put that in. I mean, it's another buying and plugging it in. But they're not, the refrigerator and microwave is not yet put in place. But other than that, like I said, there's just a few things in the wall that need to be touched up. Small stuff, we went over today, but they're going to continue and get that done next week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, shade tree. Any Shade tree?
No activity.
I do with Shade Tree.
Okay.
I'm gonna need like Nancy or somebody from Shade Tree to come over behind my property
Okay.
and look at the trees, the pines, because some of them trees are gonna have to be removed.
Behind your building?
Okay,
Yes.
You can get a hold of her. Or her, Cliff, all
Because as I brought up before, because there's no curbs there, it has washed out a lot more of the hillside, and these trees are going to come down.
Okay, we'll address it. Take into it.
Police, anything, police committee? Personnel.
On the police committee, how is your husband doing?
He's slowly getting better. We were at the doctor today and he was just exhausted.
Is he
is
home
getting
now?
along better. He's
Okay.
walking now. It's gonna be a long process. He would have been here, if it hadn't been today, tonight, he would have been here, but then tomorrow night. But he was
His health
totally
is more
exhausted.
important.
Yeah. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
And again, I just want to take the time to apologize if you get that message out to him, because I did not call him for the meeting today. He was in the buildings. I didn't know he was out of the hospital.
Yeah, he got out of the hospital last week.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that, and I apologize I didn't call him.
That's okay.
Finance, insurance, special projects, anything?
Yeah, if you would consider the sign ordinance special project.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, remember,
Yeah,
I mean, I have an update on that, if you want, is it separate?
I think we leave it to the unfinished business.
That's fine.
All right, unfinished business.
Paul Ken and myself met on this sign ordinance for signs and billboards. It was an ordinance that was proposed or written up by Andrew, and there's a number of items on here that he highlighted, more or less needs significant discussion, and that is a very true statement. It does need significant discussion, but I would like to have Andrew there at our next meeting to clarify what our options are for these discussions. So I'll just give you an update on that, and he will, I'll invite him to our next meeting.
Okay, and I want to add to that, I've been doing this digging myself, and as soon as I get it, I'll get it to you. I called PennDOT to get I submitted a right to know request for the permit for this. I just wasn't curious, I wanted to see it. I also called, I'll give you all this stuff. I called a lady, Harrisburg. Her name's Carol Mundy. She's the head of the right-of-way division for PennDOT. And I explained to her what we had over here as far as the signs, where they were at from the highway, how far they were away from the highway, the state right-of-way. And she seemed a little concerned that they were so close to the state right-of-way. Now, last Thursday, I called her, and she was going to look into it and get back to me. She didn't hear from her today, but I will give her a call tomorrow.
Did you say her last name was Mundy?
Munley,
Munley.
M-U-N-L-E-Y.
M-U-N-L-E-Y.
And I also called,
Did you address the fact that those were unlit signs at one time and maybe?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
'Cause that could be a big difference.
Yeah, I told her about that. And I also called Patty Colbert, give me, it was South Union Township, down in Washington County, and I'm gonna call Andrew and have them call their solicitor. But did you see that article that was, I don't know if you've seen it the last time or not? I talked to that fellow in the article. And I explained, you know, our situation to him up here. And what he told me was, they actually amended their ordinance to include turning off those signs at night. Okay?
And that was
From
illegal
11
to do.
And he claims, according to their solicitor, that was legal to do. So that's why I want to get
That's gonna be
Andrew,
investigated by both of them.
Andrew to call their solicitor. I thought he'd be here tonight. I wrote the solicitor's number and stuff down for him, but he wasn't coming. He left Harley emails and he would be. So that's where that's at with that. That's what I found out on that. I'll give you all this stuff here. I have to.
Well, that's kind of where we're at. I mean, Paul and I, you know, as far as the ordinance is concerned, we're happy with the ordinance, but there's a lot of questions in there that we need to be reformed and
Well, the biggest-
educated by it.
The biggest question I have is, you know, and this is what I gotta find out. According to this fellow in the article, that they amended their ordinance to include turning off these signs at night. And according to him, that was legal.
Yeah, it says it's legal, and it says it may go to court though.
Yeah,
And they're gonna defend it in court.
yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to see what the outcome of that discussion.
But I'll call Andrew tomorrow and give him the number of their attorney. It's Davis in Uniontown. And next thing I have on unfinished business is, there were several people here last meeting about the water on Hill Avenue. We had the water testing. Okay, Scotty tested the water for us. He works for CWM. And the tests come back positive for chlorine. So I contacted Mr. Lasitis, the head of the Water Authority, and informed him. And last I talked to him was last week. He said that doing this project, they're going to have the borough, or their engineer, go up and they have some kind of thing that they can detect running water and see if they can find the leak. Because he said they just don't want to go up and start digging blindly because they don't know where it's at. So that's where that stands.
But they already went
Yeah. Yep, he promised.
He's waiting to get the machine, he's waiting for the engineer to get his machine back. Ken's has his machine let out from the municipal authority at the moment.
The ordinance that it did pass does not address limited size.
Yeah.
It's size of,
Yeah.
but not limited size.
Yeah.
That's why we have to amend that.
Mr. Paneski, is that application, is it available yet for signs?
What application?
No.
No,
No?
no.
Okay, because that was on December of 2011. whenever that was supposed to be, and Michelle was supposed to draft it, and it never got done.
For the sign ordinance you're talking?
For a permit, for any kind of signage?
Sign.
Yeah.
The application.
It's never been made up. I think that's all I had. Any other unfinished business?
Just one thing, in past summers, since the subcontractor we've chosen in the past to mow the grass of uninhabited houses, that we've been having problems that they either don't come up or don't show up at all. We have in the past, by the mayor's permission, by the prior mayor's permission, allowed landowners who are adjacent to that property to mow that grass, because it benefits them also, and they're paid accordingly. Do we want to do that again this year?
Yeah, I didn't see any problem. Why not? It's worked in the past. I have no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's the mayor's approval, don't need to call the mayor. All right.
I don't think we should be paying that. When I worked on the board, we wouldn't cut the grasses. Right, Ed?
Of homes that,
Yes.
and did you at that point charge a lien against the property or deny material?
Council was supposed to put the lien against it.
Council was supposed to put the lien against the property.
Several times we went up to Percy Marshall, he was on council at the time, and we cut that grass repeatedly. I don't think council should be paying.
You think the guys have time to do it? Mow grass?
Were you talking about an individual cutting grass
Yeah.
on that property?
Well, talking about homes that are foreclosed on, or they're abandoned, they don't mow the grass.
Right. Because if you have a private person doing it, the borough's paying, aren't we liable for liability?
I can remember going up Percy several times, and then we cut down further along the road,
Yeah.
right along the edge of the hill. We moved that we had weed eater because it was too high to cut with the mower.
There was probably.
Somebody else.
Okay, well, let's see if you can fit that, into the schedule then.
And you don't have to keep track of the time
Yeah,
and the.
usually it's once a week. Yeah, most of it's mow grass.
But that's up to council.
Yeah, it's up to council.
Well, it's also up to the public works. We don't want to have them mowing grass when they could be doing something else.
We have an ordinance on stuff like that, and more historically, we charge $100 per hour. If whoever owns the property and the mortgage company, we look back the mortgage company, and they, at least we did for years, if they don't have a guy, the mortgage company doesn't somebody out, we have to send a door guys out, we charge $100 per hour, and if we have to, I don't have ordinance, but, that's what we charge for leaning against the property.
This year?
All right, well, let's table that for now. We've got some
Well,
discussion.
I'll-
See
I'll
what
go
Ed's
ahead
gonna.
and be able to, it's up to his schedule.
Years ago, we came out of hand, it was 4 or 5 houses, they weren't doing it at all.
Yeah,
And then we raised the price up and that got people's attention.
I don't think, personally myself, I don't think we have a big problem. Now, like you said, we did years
In the
past.
past, there were 6 or 7 locations.
Yeah.
And then the guys were busy during the summer, trying to keep up all the summer stuff. And I'm absolutely sure that we raised the order, or raised it to $100 an hour. We had 2 guys go up with machines and stuff like that there, and then we go in against the property. That terminates. We had 4 out of the 5 people that were actually not cutting the grass, started cutting the grass. That's what we're doing. I called every one of them ahead of time and told them this is what we're gonna do. They didn't do it, and we sent them the bill, they went against the property, and we said something else, cut the grass. So, that's what we did. We'll check and do it for next year.
One other thing, unfinished business. The area over here where they play hockey. you know, I've got several calls from Joe, who lives across from there, and I don't know what council wants to do. Do we want to spend the money to put netting up over there? I mean, personally myself, sure, we put the pavement, you know, we put the pavement, but do you feel that we should absorb the whole cost to put fencing or netting up?
It's fire hall property. We
Yeah.
discussed that before. What did they say at the last meeting?
They didn't have enough people at the last meeting.
Well, that's sort of critical, you know, it's, I think, you know, can we work together to
Well,
do that? I mean, I'd be willing to, you know, put out some money from council if the fire hall.
yeah, well, here, I looked up, I got prices when, this has been probably a month ago. Netting, 1 by inch square netting, 10 by 25. $97, that includes shipping.
Okay. And then we'd have to put posts in of
Posts.
some sort. That's not bad.
Well, you know, the thing about it is, where it becomes a hazard and cost efficient, or costly, it's the netting with the sun and degrading.
Yeah.
You probably have to replace every other year. They had the last 3 years the most, so I mean,
Yeah.
take that, couple that with the fact of paying every 3 years.
Or if you just put a 10-foot fence up or whatever, you're gonna have, I mean, you're gonna pay the cost, the price of it, but it's gonna last.
I don't know if it gets
And
right price.
kids aren't gonna cut
Two
it.
or 3 years out of it. Well, put the posts in once,
Yeah.
you know.
If somebody doesn't run into them,
Well, actually, the far end, believe me, if they run into them and bend them, they're gonna be hurt, because, you know, I went over and looked at it. The existing fence that's there now, the chain fence, you can take those caps off the post and get a pipe or a post, basically the diameter, and put
Also,
right
can
down
you
in
use that
there.
existing as a
Yes.
sleeve?
Yeah.
That would work. That by 25, that's pretty good. I mean, that would make the residents happy. And not only that, passing cars. You know, that's another thing to worry about.
Yeah, that's the price for it, shipped.
And
10 by
if we can split that with the
25.
fire hall, I would have no problem with
Don't we have a playground grant?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
I can't think of the name of it.
that. That endowment.
And, yeah, don't we? Yeah.
That was my question. And don't they allot us so much money a year to use? Why are we not using that? Do we use
We
it
have
every
it.
year?
No, it can just
Yeah.
build up.
I-
in this account.
Actually, I think the last time we used that money was Augustine Dark Force. Am I not correct?
When was it?
Carol got it to redo the
Or something with the basketball.
basketball, resurface the basketball and netting and stuff like that there.
You were right.
I think Carol's the one that got involved in that, got that for us years ago. I think that's the last time we used it.
Yeah, and it's not automatic, you have to
No,
play
it's
a
not
game.
automatic. Somebody's gotta make a good effort like she did in Glenwood. No doubt about it.
Well, there's money in what we call the recreation account,
Yeah, special project.
special project
We'll- we'll-
account.
we'll use
I
that.
mean, there's still money left over in it from this playground over here. Okay, and even taking that out, would you say there was about 3,000 in there? Yeah, it was about $3,000.
Yeah, when I will use that.
What about that,
I still ask the fire hall for donations.
Yeah.
We could
No, we
benefit
just
them
need to
too.
put netting or we will chain link fence.
No, I just, let's
Netting?
do it. Yeah, because it might be time to really play.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think they're down there a lot.
I don't know, maybe you see them down there.
In the winter, yeah, winter
They'll
they're
go out
down
and
there
move
all
on
the
and-
time.
Just one thing about this project, I mean, we gotta make sure it looks nice and it's self-maintained.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to the point where we're gonna maintain things we can't maintain. It's gonna
I
keep it
just-
thin. You know what
I
I'm saying?
think
So if
with
we're
the-
gonna put something up, it's gonna last.
I think with the netting, the kids are gonna be more, they're gonna be able to damage that more, you know. If they're going to do vandalism, they can come in and cut it. I mean, the fence is more, I mean, you can look at it both ways.
Right.
I mean, I think it's a good idea, it's just the idea, I mean, because personally, I wouldn't want my car affected when I'm driving by or sitting on the other side of the street. I mean, that's not their fault that we put it in there, the kids aren't playing, but the kids need a place to play. And if we do put a net up, let's make it a nice net, so we can self-maintain it, and it's gonna last for a while before, it's, you know, I don't want the organized every year. They're done every year.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we have somebody come in? I don't actually think the netting has to be 10 feet high, you know.
If you put them on a hillside,
Well-
I mean, you're getting a couple.
Well,
feet from the hillside.
I'm looking, you know,
It's gonna be above
going out
existing
there.
fence.
I'm looking at, you know, if the existing fence that's there, it's extended up probably another 4 feet, you know, as far as like chain link, 4 feet, that's gonna take care of that in down there, you know, facing John Pavetti's house.
So in other words, you take a higher site plan there.
Yeah,
And a
but
20-foot section.
if it's costly, I mean, I don't wanna spend, you know, thousands of dollars, but,
You definitely want to do it right the first time.
yeah.
So you're against the netting?
No, I'm not against the netting, I'm against the net, a poorly made netting in the last year. There's stuff out there the last 10 years. I mean, it might be a little bit more money, but I'm just saying that if you look at the big picture, you probably buy 3 or 4 nets for the cost of the first time. And the money cost of maintaining that in, a lot cheaper to begin with. It's just, it doesn't really, it's not cost efficient.
This,
President, can I offer a suggestion?
Yeah.
Why don't you point somebody to look into this?
yeah, that's what I was just gonna do, I was gonna say, I was gonna say Eddie.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'd say he's head of the street committee, you
Good
can
job,
get a
Eddie.
hold of him. I know,
I'd be willing to do it if nobody wants to do it.
you wanna do it, Jim?
Yeah.
Okay. Jim,
And Jim, they have a bunch of manuals right there in the World Building that have all this stuff in there that you can look and see different, you know, get an idea on the netting. I've seen them, they're sitting there, they're from Granger, they're from, you know, the world has different manuals in there, so you can take a picture if you want a place to start. It's just,
I thought maybe I'd call some local fencing companies.
Yeah,
There's one
get a
buck.
price.
Kind of
I-
fencing.
What's his name?
Placek.
Placek out here, he's putting fences. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
He subcontracts it for the pen, I think through Penn Fencing, because that's
I don't know.
when we got our pole and he gave us Penn Fencing.
Right there, right there.
I was under the understanding he's doing it
Maybe he is
Could
now.
be.
right along with, you know.
Marie, what? The brother of Placek has a fence
Bob.
company.
To Hagan. Was it you that said it was out at Worthington? For the fencing? Okay.
Jim, we'll find that out.
All right.
Thanks, Jim.
Anything else in unfinished business? New business?
Later.
Fez, the audit, we're probably 60% done. At the next meeting, we would like to, at that point, set a date to go over our findings. I don't want to set the date now because we have a couple more large pieces of it to do, and I don't want to set a date and then have it, for some reason, we're not able to get it done. So at the next meeting, we can set a date to go over what we
You
found?
mean a next regular council meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
At that point, we can set a date.
Okay, new business. We had some trouble with the other police vehicle, that's why you haven't seen it. Actually, a lot of trouble. This is gonna be up to council. The total, to get it fixed, we need radiator. Lower radiator hose, upper radiator hose, put antifreeze in, water pump, bypass elbow, intake manifold gasket, upper intake plenum, hose clamp, thermostat, oil and filter. Total price of all the parts was $633.67. And the total for labor was $664, which makes the total $1,299.67 to fix this
Is
car.
that intake manifold gaskets or head gasket?
Intake manifold gasket.
What year is the car?
It's a 2001.
And what's the miles on it?
70,698.
Officer Gahagan, does that car still run well if that all gets fixed?
Seems to be in operating condition as far as, I don't know what, as far as repair goes, but we've used it and it seems to run well.
The body's in actually fairly good shape, is it not?
For the year and the model of the car, because of the care that's been given over its lifetime, it's actually in a lot better shape than probably, close to half of the other police vehicles in the county.
And you suggested we invest the $1,200 to get this fixed?
It would be a situation where you'd be able to have a secondary police vehicle in case anything would happen, or whatever else would go on there. Try to use the car more often, just for fuel savings and so on of the operation on it, but you guys.
Thank you for your input. I make a motion that we pay $1,299.67 to get it fixed.
Have a second? Second, Cliff. All those in favor?
I just want to make a comment on that car. The car is in really good shape. I mean, I gotta give Officer Gahagan credit for staying the way it is. The car is in really good shape. The only thing I see wrong with the car is the seat wore out. But other than that, it's in good shape. I think it'd be terribly embarrassing not to. So, and that's okay. I just want to explain the reason why I'm voting against.
You're voting against it?
Voting yes, I want to explain the reason why I'm voting yes. No, I want to get a little explanation of the reason why I'm voting yes, because it is very good. So,
Any other questions on the motion? All those in favor?
to me, that's a call.
Okay, we have a resolution prepared by Solicitor Sacco. I will read it out loud. It'll be resolution number 2014-1. Whereas at a regular monthly meeting on March 4th, 2014, West Atlantic Borough Council voted to remove Carol Augustine, a member of the West Atlantic Municipal Water Authority Board, from her position on said board. And whereas Council then appointed Richard Cobley to replace Carol Augustine on the Water Authority Board, and whereas the action taken by Council in removing Carol Augustine from the Water Authority Board is null and void, and whereas Carol Augustine remains a member of the Water Authority Board, and therefore it is hereby resolved that the